Now for the first time, we're going to finally describe what some of these layers do. We've talked about the layers so far, but we really haven't mentioned what goes on at these layers. Let's take a brief look, and then over the next several weeks, we'll look at them in much more detail. The application layer is, of course, just up there where the applications exist, and they produce some data stream. That data stream then is coded in layer 6. By coding, I mean ASCII codes, Unicodes, those kinds of representations of the data, as well as file types, JPG, DOCX, PDF, and so forth. This is also, by the way, layer 6 is also where compression takes place when we compress data, and it's where encryption takes place if we encrypt data. The session layer, layer 5, is where sessions are created and terminated. This is sort of an overall layer, that is to say it's a command level. It determines that a session needs to be created and what type of session, and then sends that information down to the layers below it, because the protocols have to be selected in the transport network, data link, and physical layer, and the session layer will help determine which of those protocols will be used. We don't really deal with the session layer very much as network engineers. In fact, the first 4 layers are really the only ones that we usually deal with, and occasionally the application layer. The transport layer is now where segmentation takes place. We take that stream of data and we chunk it up into little chunks, and we call those chunks segments. Now, I use that word very specifically because you'll discover later on that we don't call them packets yet. They're just segments. This is also where multiplexing takes place, because I can take one of those segments, put it on a wire, and then take a segment from another communication stream and put that on the same wire. It's just like cars on a highway. They can be carrying different kinds of information for different conversations, all in these little chunks. So that's where multiplexing takes place as well. The network layer, layer 3, is where IP addressing takes place. IP addresses are unique addresses across an inter-network, so that each device has a unique address. The IP address is how I communicate with devices outside of my own network. So if I have a network of, say, 10 computers, but I need to talk to a google.com server, I need an IP address to do that. The data link layer, layer 2, is where local addressing takes place. If I have a network of 10 computers and a router, and I need to talk to another computer on my network, I would use a local address, usually a MAC address, although there are other types of data link addresses too. In fact, if I'm sending some data or some information to a Google server, I would use the local address to get from my computer to my router. And then from the router, the IP address at layer 3 is put on and it's sent out to the other network. By the way, the data link layer is also where some error checking takes place. This is the only footer information, by the way, that is encapsulated as we go down the chain. And that's that error check footer. Finally, the physical layer. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where we convert signals to ones and zeros and send them down the wire or across an electromagnetic field, such as a Wi-Fi or something. Once again, remember the mnemonic. If we start from 7 down to 1, all people seem to need data processing. Going up the chain, if you prefer to remember it that way, please, or programmers, do not throw sausage pizza away. Remember the OSI model very, very well. You'll use it all the time in this field.